Welcome, Colorado Avalanche fans, hockey fans around the net. This is InTheCrease post-game review for Rocky Mountain Sports Report. I am, as always, your humble host, Gregory Doudna, aka the Blood Oath. Thank you for joining me tonight. We will keep this one pretty short. I am sure we are all rather frustrated after tonight's game. But to start, I want to give a big shout out and big thank you to our sponsors, Coda Bear Creations. Be sure to check out their Facebook page. They do a bunch of apparel, custom apparel, all that kind of stuff, t-shirts, hoodies, keychains, whatever you could want. So be sure to check out their Facebook. Big thanks to them for sponsoring us. With that, let's hop into this game 4 of the second round between the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. If you caught our pregame show with myself and King Cole, Scott Cole, you will know that we kind of talked about the keys of the game and what we needed to see from the Avalanche to win this one. And I hate to tell you guys, they did none of it. They did absolutely none of it. End up getting beaten this one by a final score of 5-1. Ryan Reeves was back after his 2-game suspension. And as we had talked about in the pregame show, we believed that one of the keys was for the Avalanche to really get under his skin. You know, he's an emotional player, someone who can take stupid penalties if you give him the opportunity to, someone that you kind of have to give a little bit of focus to try and knock him off his game, get him to do something in retaliation. And for whatever reason, the Avs just let him off scot-free. I mean, I didn't see any pressure on him at all. They let him pick up an assist in this game. Basically just let him and Vegas just kind of walk all over him in this one. And after coming after kind of the shellacking that Jared Bednar gave the team in the press after game 3, you would have expected a bit better of a reaction from this team and a better, comeback, something to try and push them back past Vegas. But, aside from, a couple moments, a few minutes in the first period, really didn't see anything from them that said, hey, we're back, we're ready to do this, and we're going to be the Avs team of old. It was just really unfortunate all the way through, seeing them play like the team that we don't believe that they are, that we know that they aren't, and far away from the team that we know they can be. The game starts, Vegas comes out, gets multiple early opportunities. Within like the first 8 seconds, I believe they get a 2-on-1 that Grubauer has to come up and make a huge save. Because again, Grubauer playing his heart out, gives up 5 goals in this one, but you can't blame him in this game. I mean, he did everything, made some phenomenal saves, did everything he could to try and give the Avs a chance in this one. And they just didn't help him back. They left him out to dry multiple times and just did not play the solid game that they needed to be able to have a chance in this one. They do strike first, however, picking up a goal at 1 minute and 50 seconds into the game. Brandon Saad picking up where he left off after not scoring a goal in game 3, gets back to his form, gets his 6th goal of the postseason here with an assist from JT Compher, his first assist of the postseason, and assist from Andre Burakovsky, his 3rd. Then it very quickly went downhill for the Avs as Patrick Nemeth gets hit with a holding call at 2:43. I'll be bringing up his name a couple times in this show. And then Vegas gets on the board at 7 minutes and 7 seconds with a Jonathan Marchessault goal, his 3rd of the postseason. Yet another person I'm going to be saying the name of quite a few times in this one, with an assist from William Karlsson, Wild Bill, his 4th assist, and Riley Smith, his 4th assist of the postseason. Play kind of stalls out a little bit. You have a little bit of back and forth. And I say there was some push from the Avs. It seemed like there may have been, kind of some reaction to what Bednar had said after game 3. A little bit of a kind of juice, a little bit of a spark to the Avs team throughout the first period. But that kind of quickly fell away towards the end. Jonathan Marchessault gets hit with a tripping call at 18 minutes and 2 seconds. And then just 22 seconds later, in what I thought was a weird call, Cale Makar gets hit with an interference penalty. It was, we were on the power play. Nathan McKinnon's coming down, as the Avs like to do, kind of the setup power play where, Cale will go back, get the puck, drop it off for Nathan, and Nathan's going to pick it up and come whipping through the zone. Kale was just kind of skating to a spot, had one of the Vegas players run into him, fall down, and they call Makar for an interference, which I guess I thought was a weird call. Definitely not something that I believe should have been called. But trust me, whoever the Facebook user that commented, trust me, I will get to that. Don't you worry. Yeah, just like I say, weird call, really weird call. Going this one on Makar, and I even have to say the national broadcast, who normally I don't listen to, I think that they really kind of have it in for the Avs. Are pretty good about being for whoever is against the Avs. They were even like, wait a minute, how do you call this? Like, Makar is entitled to that ice just as much as anybody else on the ice. How do you call him for interference here when he's just simply in a position? It was weird. I didn't think it was a good call. But anyway, they end up going into the first intermission with Vegas outshooting Colorado 15-9. And we're going to get to the shots as well. Trust me, we have a lot to dissect in this one. And then going into the second period, kind of thought, all right, it's a 1-1 game. The Avs looked okay. They definitely didn't look great. They didn't look like they were the Avs team of old, but, it looked like, okay, we have a shot in this one, obviously. Could obviously use more of a spark. There still wasn't quite the, kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? The strong desire. It's not the urgency. The urgency wasn't quite there, and so it's like, okay, we're getting outshot again. That's not good. This is an Avs team that thrives when they are just firing that puck on net. Need to get to it. Let's come out in the second, get that urgency going, and hopefully, we will, get this one going back our way. Before I dive in, I just want to respond to these comments here. Sydney bringing up a question. Any reason we're seeing Sherwood over Newhook, contract issues, or so the reason for it was when you're at home, you get the final change. And what that means is when you're doing a line change during a stoppage of play, the home team gets to put their line out in response to whoever the visiting team puts out. So you get the decision. So if so Vegas puts out their top line, Bednar can say, okay, we have to match with our top line. Go ahead and get out there to match them. So because of that, he went with Alex Newhook and Rambo Santa for the home games, because he was then able to control that. If he saw that there was a moment where he could get those guys out, get that fourth line out against someone that was a little bit of a mismatch, give them kind of an opportunity to let their young legs carry them past maybe a bit slower line, then he was able to get that matchup that he wanted. Because we were visiting in these last two games, he wanted to have it to where the opportunity was better for whoever was on the ice for the Avs to go up against whoever Vegas would put out against them. So he went with Kiefer Sherwood and Carl Soderberg over Alex Newhook and Sampo Ranta, because he believed that they would be better suited and better equipped to handle whatever Vegas was going to put out against them. So if, say Bednar puts out that fourth line, and Peter DeBoer goes, ooh, you know what? This is an opportunity. Let's go ahead and put out the top line, to try and get that mismatch. It's a little bit less of a mismatch in theory. Obviously, this is all theoretical stuff. In theory, it's a better matchup for the Avs to have Carl Soderberg and Kiefer Sherwood out there with P.E. Belmar, rather than two young kids, two fresh rookies whose, first experience is in the playoffs here. So that's the reason for that. That's why we're seeing Sherwood instead of Newhook, and Carl Soderberg instead of Newhook, and Kiefer Sherwood instead of Sampo Ranta. So that's the issue there. So that's the reason for it there. And Matt, wholeheartedly agree with you. That was a rough one, man. That was not a fun game to watch if you're an Avs fan. So anyway, we'll get into the second period here. Very quickly, Vegas shut this one down and just took it away from the Avs at every opportunity. Just a minute and 11 seconds into the second period, Vegas picks up the first lead that they've really had of the series, with Max Pacioretty scoring his third goal of the playoffs with assist from Mark Stone, his third assist of the playoffs, and Zach Whitecloud, his second assist of the playoffs. Obviously they ended up winning game 3, but they never really held a lead. The Avs were in the lead for game 3 all the way up until about 5 minutes left in the game. And that's when Vegas tied it and then went ahead. So this was really the first time that we got to see Vegas play with a lead. And they were not going to give it back. They very much, and obviously, as upset as we are at the Avs for playing the way they did, have to give the credit to Vegas, which, God, that makes me want to vomit saying that. But you have to. I mean, they played a heck of a game. They did everything in their power to make sure that the Avs could not generate anything and could not get anything going. And then later in the second period, at 9:35, Andrei Burakovsky, and this was kind of a weird play, I thought. Andrei Burakovsky gets called for holding. So what happens is he's going into the corner to try and pick up a puck, and he's going, he's kind of battling a player for Vegas to get to the puck. I believe it is Alex Tuck. I think I could be mistaken. But what happens is they're going to cut off Berkey, and he tries to get around him, and his free arm comes up in the glove for Berkey's left hand, kind of gets caught, like right in the pad, right underneath the helmet for the player. Like I think it was Alex Tuck, if I'm not mistaken, and ends up pulling him down. Kind of pulls him down to the ice. Alex Pietrangelo, was not appreciative of it. Ends up slamming into Berkey well after the whistle blew. But Berkey goes off for holding, and then JT Compher and Alex Tuck get into a wrestling match. They end up on the ice, ripping each other's helmets off, doing all sorts of stuff. So they each get called for roughing. So Vegas goes on the power play after this one. Like I said, I was at 9:35 of the second. Excuse me. And unfortunately, as the Avs have been very good on special teams this postseason, the Vegas Golden Knights were able to kind of break that with a power play goal here. Jonathan Marchessault picking up his second goal of the game, now fourth of the playoffs, with assists from Alex Pietrangelo, his fifth assist of the playoffs, and William Karlsson, his fifth assist of the playoffs. So you get Marchessault's second goal of the game here. Starts to kind of you could kind of feel it after this one that it was kind of being pulled away from the Avs. It was kind of getting out of reach. Vegas is only up 3-1 at this point, but other than game 1, the 7-1 win by the Avs, goals have been tough to come by in this series. You've got 2 of the finalists for the Vezina Trophy. They're doing everything in their power to make sure that their teams can win these games. Grubauer again playing out of his mind. But you also have Marc-Andre Fleury on the other side, and he's doing exactly the same. He's doing everything in his power to make sure that Vegas gets an opportunity to win every one of these games. Just so happens to be that this is another one that he's able to do that. I'm going to check these comments. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with Sky here. I'm going to pop this one up for everybody. Expect to see some lineup changes for game number 5. Something has got to change for the Colorado Avalanche. And this is where I will actually kind of bring up what someone had said earlier. Don't have StreamYard that doesn't have the permissions from that user, so it doesn't tell me who said it. But they said, "Give me McDonald all day over the Hack Nemeth," and this is something that I absolutely agree on. So I didn't go into it. I was kind of a little focused on something a little further on. What happens with the first Vegas goal? So Avs are up 1-0, feeling good, everything's great. Play is coming back into the Colorado zone. Patrick Nemeth gets the puck and has multiple options here, and even has Philip Grubauer telling him, "Hey, best option." He takes the glove and points, says, "Best option, go around the boards this way." So he's coming to the side of the net, and he has Jonathan Marchessault coming around. Oh, it's her. Gotcha. Has Jonathan Marchessault coming around the far side of the net. Doesn't realize that Riley Smith is right behind him. So he has the option. He can either go hard off the boards directly behind the net to wrap it around. He can go hard off the boards to his left, getting it back up and trying to get it out of the zone. Or he can even take the puck to the wall and just pin it for a second, let people come back, kind of help him out. Instead, he kind of panics, turns around, and just fires a pass right on the tape of Riley Smith, who honestly, he kind of looked a little surprised. It almost seemed like he like lightly fumbled the puck a little bit. But yeah, kind of, catches it and then realizes, oh, hey, I'm now one-on-one with Philip Grubauer. There's no one in between us. Gets a good backhand drag off, fires it up off the crossbar. And in watching it, I thought he scored, and so did a lot of people, including Riley Smith. He throws his arms up. Vegas kind of starts celebrating, but does go off the crossbar. And so, refs wave it off, say no goal. Puck kind of comes out, gets smacked away. Somebody else had a phenomenal opportunity to score right there. I think it was March or so. It gets knocked away, goes over to the corner. One of the Vegas it was who got the assist? William Karlsson gets it in the corner, throws it to the front of the net where Jonathan Marchessault is standing and just quickly deflects it in. And this is something that the first game I can still vividly remember of the St. Louis series, our first series of the playoffs for the Avs. I remember vividly saying our weak links were Patrick Nemeth and Ryan Graves. Ryan has done a pretty darn good job of fixing that, of really kind of stepping up. Still has some moments, I will say, that's a little questionable, but he's doing a lot better. He definitely is getting back into the kind of that form that we like to see. What he's able to do. Patrick Nemeth hasn't. In all honesty, I will 100% harp on this right now. Patrick Nemeth is the Achilles heel of the Colorado Avalanche. Granted, it's not like everybody else was playing great and he wasn't. He has just been hands down the worst player for the Avs. And this isn't something I say lightly. I really enjoy the guy. I loved him when he was back on. Or when he was with the Avs a couple of years back, someone that I definitely feel for. Not anybody that I would say, oh, he's a bum, I don't like him, get him out of here. No, he's someone that I, truly enjoy, but he is not playing well in the slightest. He was brought in to be that big body that we needed for penalty kills, to eat up some of the tough ice, to make those smart plays that aren't going to hurt the team. That's all he's been doing in these playoffs, is hurting the team. And as Big Hirsch had said, Jacob McDonald had a phenomenal regular season. Dude played his heart out, showed a ton of talent, a ton of skill, and a ton of willingness to do whatever it took to win games. I mean, his shot blocking was just second to none. His offensive prowess fit perfectly with this Avs team that has the likes of Cale Makar, Devon Toews, Sammy Girard. He fit in so perfectly, played so well. I 100% agree. I don't understand why Jacob McDonald is out of the lineup and Patrick Nemeth is in. It makes no sense to me. I understand the theoretical side of it of, oh, Nemeth is bigger. He's a good penalty killer, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing it. He is not doing it. He hasn't done it all playoffs long. He has been a major hindrance for this team. That's one of the ones that, like Scott's saying, expect to see some lineup changes. That's the number one I would like to see. Get Patrick Nemeth out of the lineup. Please, Bednar. Please, please, please. Anyway, all that being said, definitely expect to see those changes. It could be switching up some of the lines, moving, as we've seen, Gabe move down to the second line, bring up Andre Burakovsky, something has to give. These Avs cannot keep doing what they've been doing. There hasn't been that, the adaption that King Cole was talking about during the pregame. It's something that I'll forever remember my baseball coach teaching me. The great ones adjust. That was the thing that I remember about my high school baseball coach that I will take till the day I die. The great ones adjust. What we are seeing from the Avs right now is no adjustment. There has not been adjustment. There's been no desire to adapt. I don't say no desire. I mean, I hope there's a desire to adapt, but they have not been doing that, and that's something that's very scary to see. This is a phenomenal team. I would expect them to be great ones. I would expect them to adjust. So, obviously we'll see. The very nice thing is we're coming back home. Game 5 is at Ball Arena in Denver. So, fingers crossed that whatever it is about Ball Arena with the Avs, that continues, and it's something that is able to kind of propel the Avs into the position that they can win Game 5, and hopefully, if necessary, win Game 7 if we end up losing Game 6 back in Vegas. Clearly fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but at this point we got to kind of prepare for the worst. Let's see. So we got so that was the second period. Jonathan Marchessault picking up that power play goal for his second goal of the game. And this is where things really started to get kind of yucky. The Avs in the first period got outshot 15-9, right? In the second period, they get outshot 8-6. Not quite as bad, but this is a trend that's now been going for 8 straight periods with the conclusion of this game. Vegas has been doing what Colorado has been doing to teams all season long, and out shooting them, outworking them, out defending them, just outperforming them in every way, but especially in the shot totals. I mean, that was a team that was, first in shot differential by an astronomical amount. And it was something like, hundreds and hundreds of shots in that differential category going for the Avs. So this is where I will say it gets a little bit spooky. I'm still not worried. I am feeling the after effects of that game for sure, but I'm still not worried. This is still a team that we know what they can do. We know how great this Avs team is. They just got to get back to it. With that, we'll move on to the third period. I want to bring this up just real quick since I was just talking about the shots. I'll go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. In the third period, Colorado gets outshot 12-3. You're not winning games. You will not win a game when you get 3 shots on goal in a period. It's not going to happen. So with these last 3 games, the Avs have now been outshot 119-63. That's not good, Avs Nation. That's I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys that. That's a big old yikes for everybody involved. Again, something that I hope we see change. And as I said at the start of this, exactly what Scott and I were saying in the pregame. It didn't happen. We needed shots from the point. We needed our defense to get back into it. Our defense to get back into the offensive production. That didn't happen. I think Cale got 1 shot on goal. Hold on. Actually, I have it pulled up right here. Cale got 1 shot on goal. That can't happen, man. When you are the star defenseman and you're the star because of your offensive prowess, you can't get 1 shot on goal. Have to do better than that. Devon Taves did get 3 shots on goal, so that's good to see. But again, Cale's your star, man. Cale is the one that is driving the offense from the defensive side of things. He's got to pick it up for sure. Along with Sammy G, only 1 shot on goal. He's another one. He's got a phenomenal shot. We need to see him releasing it more often. Ryan Graves didn't get any. So again, the Avs aren't playing like the Avs, and that's where it's a little spooky, but let's see what happens in Game 5. Hopefully there's the turnaround. Anyway, moving on to period number 3. Starts off with a delay of game penalty on Zach Whitecloud for Vegas. Ends up knocking the puck out of play in his defensive zone. Typically, this is something, it has to be the intentionally propelled. Obviously, no one's intentionally flinging it out. That's hardly ever the case. But this one was kind of funny, as it was actually with his glove. It was coming down the boards, and he actually kind of looked like he just shot put it almost, or like a volleyball set kind of with one hand, just boop right up and out. So it was a little exciting. It was like, okay, here we go, Avs. Here's your opportunity. Early power play in the third. We're down 3-1. Just get this goal. Don't worry about the fact that we're down 3-1. Don't worry about any of that. Get this goal, then focus on the next one. That's all you have to do when you're down in a game is focus on the next goal, because then they start coming, and hopefully they come in bunches. And like it did for Vegas, sometimes, they went 5 unanswered goals on us, so that's what you have to focus on is that next one and then the next one. And so that was the hope. Didn't happen. And instead, Vegas decides to turn around, and at 6 minutes and 1 second in the third period, Jonathan Marchessault picks up the hat trick, getting his 3rd goal of the game, his 5th goal of the postseason, with assists from Riley Smith, his 4th, and William Karlsson with his 3rd assist of the game, and he now has 6 assists on the postseason. And that's where we really, obviously that was the end of it. It's now 5-1. I'm sorry, it was 4-1 in after. Wait, hold on. Do I have something on here? Yeah, around. All right, I don't have the. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's 3-1. Okay, never mind. Sorry. So yeah, after that, after Jonathan Marchessault's goal, it's 4-1. You just got a hat trick scored on you. That was kind of the dagger in the heart. And from there you could just tell the Avs were pretty done with it. It was kind of a lost cause. Because then at 13-13 of the third period, Patrick Brown picks up a goal, his 2nd of the season, with assist from Ryan Reeves, his 1st, and William Carrier, his 2nd. And the Avs decide to challenge this one, end up being unsuccessful, so they give Vegas another power play. The reason for it, Patrick Brown coming down the slot, gets the pass over from Ryan Reeves, puts the shot up into Grubauer's chest, and the puck drops between Grubauer's leg pads. He's got the momentum going back towards the net, ends up pulling the puck into the net with him, and kind of opens the pads a little bit to see where it is, and ends up crossing the goal line. And so the Avs wanted to challenge for goaltender interference because they felt like Patrick Brown may have pushed him in. He did have the stick on Grubauer's pad, and it looked like at full speed that he did kind of pull, but it wasn't enough. Definitely not enough to overturn the call and say it was goaltender interference. And it looked very minor. And to be honest, I was a little surprised that Colorado would challenge this one. At the same time, you're now down 5-1. May as well. You need something at that point to go your way, but it just didn't end up going your way. So that ends the game as a 5-1 loss. Very ugly loss. Like I say, this is not what we need to see from the Avs. They've been outshot almost 2-1, very close to a 2-1 margin in this series, and that's something that has to turn around. And it's something that again, I kind of go back to the pregame show that Scott Cole and I did. We kind of gave the keys to the game. It's something that it obviously it's kind of the whole Monday morning quarterback stuff, but it seems like it's some simple changes. That's all it needs to be, of getting the defense to start the offensive pressure, getting the shots from the point, getting bodies in front of the net. And something really needs to happen for this top line. I mean, they each were -2 in this game. Yeah. Mikko, Gabe, and Nathan were all -2 in this game. Nathan had 3 shots on goal. Gabe had 0. Mikko had 2. The stars aren't performing, except for Grubauer. Once again, Philip Grubauer is the only reason it was 5-1. It could have easily been a much different score had he not done what he's been doing all series long. So, definitely something that, got the fingers crossed that home ice will give this team the spark again, because something needs to. Absolutely would have figured that it would be, Coach Bednar kind of calling them out in the media. They also had a team meeting earlier today, would have figured that did it. You heard players saying, yep, message received loud and clear. Clearly it didn't change anything. So, something that they were saying on the national broadcast that I wholeheartedly agree with. It needs to start being the players. It needs to be Gabriel Landeskog, being the team leader, going in and saying this is unacceptable. This is absolutely unacceptable for this team. We need to figure this out. We need to come together and learn from this. We need to do better. It needs to be, honestly, Philip Grubauer. I know he's a soft-spoken kind of dude. He's a man of few words. When you're playing your absolute best, when you are giving your team every opportunity to win and they're doing nothing in front of you to help you out, sometimes you have to, kind of flip the switch and be someone that you typically aren't, and kind of come out and call people out and say, look, I'm doing everything I can. You guys need to step it up. It needs to be Nathan McKinnon. It needs to be, whoever, Brandon Saad. I mean, he's got two Stanley Cup rings. He absolutely is a voice of reason when it comes to what you need to do as a veteran in this league and someone with that experience to get through a series like this. Someone has to say something, has to light this spark again, because right now the Avs are playing without it. They don't look like the Avs. They absolutely look like a different team, and we're going for a Stanley Cup, and it's almost kind of like these guys have forgotten it and they're back in the regular season. So, again, hopefully that changes. Hopefully someone says something and, we see a change for Game 5, and we see that team come out with a spark and come out like we know they can to get back ahead in this series. Because if they play like this, it may not even get to 7 games. Obviously, hope that's not the case, but we'll see what happens. So with that, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am Gregory Doudna, a.k.a. The Blood Oath. You've been watching the InTheCrease post-game review for Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Again, thank you so much to Coda Bear Creations. I just want to pop up this comment from Mr. Matt Staffiero talking about them. If you are interested, we have InTheCrease merchandise. Please reach out to Matt Staffiero for any of that. And then, as he says, big thank you to our sponsor, Coda Bear Creations, who supplies Rocky Mountain Sports Report and InTheCrease with all of our merchandise. They are the ones who made everything that we have for Rocky Mountain Sports Report, everything that you can get from talking to Matt Staffiero. Again, t-shirts, water bottles, hats, anything like that. So be sure to check out their Facebook, Coda Bear Creations, as well as, grab some InTheCrease swag, get something for Rocky Mountain Sports Report, and be sure to spread the word. Again, with that, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. The next game is Game 5. It will be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time at Ball Arena. Be sure to join us after that game. And then go Avs go. Let's see this turnaround, and let's see this team come back and respond the way that we know that they can. With that, everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you for Game 5 on June 9th. That is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, June 9th. At 7 p.m. is puck drop, and then I'll be going live after that. And I believe Scott should be with me. I do believe he has this Wednesday off, so we'll be able to get the team back together. Thank you for joining me. Everyone have a wonderful night or wonderful day, depending on if you are listening to this later. And I will catch you Wednesday after the game or before it. I'll talk with Scott. We might do a pregame again, but join us Wednesday. We'll see you then.